What do you think of when you hear the word violent? I usually think of something negative, something that's not necessarily helpful, something that's aggressive. It's never something that I desire. I never desire anybody to think of me as violent. But in today's gospel, Jesus says the word violent, and it's just very confusing at first how he references it. So in verse 12, he says, "From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has suffered violence, and the violent take it by force." So at first, my thought is, violent people are taking the kingdom of heaven by force. That doesn't make any sense. So I looked into interpretations of this gospel and realized that the violent people that he is referring to aren't bad, but rather they're like heroes. And the best example I could come up with was St. Augustine. So St. Augustine, right, was living a life of sin, entrenched in sin, has a conversion, sees Christ, and reverts his life to heaven, right? Has his eyes on heaven. And I would refer him as somebody who is a violent, because now he is fighting against the sins of his past, and he is fighting for heaven, right? Because he realizes that his life isn't just about him, right? It's about getting to heaven. It's about getting others to heaven, right? At first, I don't want to be violent, but then if I really look at how it's proposed in this, it's a call to arms for us to fight for the kingdom of heaven, and not only for ourselves, but for others. And how am I doing that? How am I doing that on a daily basis? And it is a form of fighting. Praying is a form of fighting. Fasting, doing good deeds. What could we do in our lives to be considered one of these violents who are taking the kingdom of heaven by force, by fighting for the kingdom of heaven?